Most people think the artificial intelligence boom is happening inside major cities. The conversation usually focuses on Silicon Valley, giant technology companies, billion-dollar startups, and futuristic software systems. Artificial intelligence feels like something happening inside screens, offices, research labs, and data centers hidden far away from ordinary life. But increasingly, the physical infrastructure behind AI is spreading far beyond traditional technology hubs. Because artificial intelligence does not simply require software engineers and algorithms, it requires land, electricity, water, cooling infrastructure, transmission capacity, fiber connectivity, industrial construction, security systems, road access, and enormous physical space. Which means many of the biggest changes caused by artificial intelligence are now beginning to appear in places most people would never expect. Small towns across America, across rural regions, farmland corridors, desert communities, old industrial zones, and quiet highway towns, giant AI infrastructure projects are beginning to reshape local economies, electrical systems, landscapes, water planning, construction patterns, and entire communities. And many of these places are changing much faster than people anticipated. AI often feels invisible because users only experience the final layer of the system. You ask a chatbot a question and receive a response instantly. You generate an image. You search for information. You use an app that quietly relies on machine learning somewhere in the background. But behind every AI system are giant data centers filled with thousands upon thousands of processors operating continuously around the clock. And those facilities must be built somewhere. Which is why technology companies are increasingly searching far beyond major urban centers for locations capable of supporting massive infrastructure expansion. Because hyperscale AI data centers require enormous amounts of physical space. Some campuses now span millions of square feet and contain giant server halls, substations, cooling infrastructure, backup generators, transmission systems, industrial utility networks, security checkpoints, fiber routes, construction staging areas, and service roads designed to keep the facilities operating continuously every second of every day. And building infrastructure at that scale inside dense urban areas becomes extremely difficult and expensive. Land costs are higher. Power infrastructure is more constrained. Construction is more complicated. Expansion space is limited. Water access may already be strained. And local approval can become slower when projects compete with housing, traffic, and existing urban development. Therefore, many companies are moving towards smaller regions with cheaper land, larger open spaces, access to electricity, available water systems, lower construction costs, and room for future expansion. Which is why many quiet communities across America are suddenly finding themselves connected to one of the largest infrastructure booms in modern technology history. In some towns, giant data center campuses now rise beside farmland, highways, rail corridors, or previously undeveloped stretches of land. Massive electrical substations appear near rural roads. Transmission infrastructure expands outward across open landscapes. Construction crews, utility contractors, engineers, surveyors, truck drivers, and industrial equipment begin arriving in places that only a few years earlier looked completely different. And the scale can feel surreal because these facilities are enormous. Some data center campuses resemble industrial power plants more than traditional office buildings. Endless warehouse-like structures stretch across huge sections of land, while cooling systems, transformers, backup generators, and utility infrastructure operate continuously around the clock. At night, some facilities glow under industrial lighting, while ventilation systems and cooling equipment continue operating in the background long after surrounding neighborhoods become quiet. A person driving past may only see a plain, rectangular building behind fences and security gates. But inside that building could be infrastructure supporting AI models, cloud platforms, business software, streaming services, financial networks, and massive portions of the modern internet. And many local communities are still trying to understand what exactly is arriving. because AI infrastructure brings both opportunity and pressure simultaneously. For some towns, data center development can create major increases in tax revenue, infrastructure investment, utility upgrades, and construction jobs. Roads may be widened, electrical systems may be upgraded, fiber infrastructure may improve. Local governments may suddenly find themselves negotiating with some of the largest technology companies in the world. A town that once struggled to attract major investment can suddenly become part of a national technology infrastructure race. That can be extremely attractive. Because large infrastructure projects can bring money, construction activity, and long-term tax benefits into communities that may have spent years looking for new economic development opportunities. But large-scale AI infrastructure expansion also creates tension. Because these facilities are not ordinary office parks, they are industrial infrastructure systems. AI data centers can consume enormous amounts of electricity. Some facilities require as much power as small cities. Others depend on giant substations and transmission upgrades specifically constructed to support the campuses. In some regions, utility companies are already warning about future grid strain caused by rapidly expanding data center demand. And electricity is only part of the equation. Many AI data centers also require extensive cooling infrastructure, which means water demand becomes important too. In some regions already facing drought concerns, heat waves, population growth, or long-term water stress, residents have started questioning how future infrastructure growth could affect local resources over time. Because communities are beginning to realize these projects are not simply tech buildings. They can permanently reshape utility systems, water planning, land use, industrial zoning, traffic patterns, and local infrastructure priorities for decades. Which creates another challenge. Many smaller towns were never originally designed around this type of industrial scale growth. Road systems may be narrow, utility networks may be limited, electrical infrastructure may be older, water systems may already be stretched, housing supply may be modest, local governments may have limited planning capacity, and emergency services may not be scaled for large industrial infrastructure campuses. Therefore, when massive projects arrive quickly, the entire community can feel the pressure at once. Construction traffic increases, heavy trucks move through local roads, industrial noise expands, land values change, power demand rises sharply, housing demand shifts, local budgets grow, but so do local responsibilities. And over time, the identity of the town can begin changing in ways residents did not fully anticipate. Because AI infrastructure is not only changing technology, it is physically changing geography. A quiet road that once passed farmland may become an access route for industrial construction. Open land may become a fenced data center campus. Local utility corridors may expand with new transmission lines. Substations may appear where there used to be empty fields. Water systems may become part of long-term infrastructure debates. And this transformation is accelerating. After the rise of ChatGPT and generative AI systems, nearly every major technology company began rapidly expanding infrastructure simultaneously. Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Meta, and other companies entered aggressive data center expansion races at roughly the same time. Therefore, many communities across America are now experiencing overlapping waves of industrial-scale technology construction. And increasingly, some towns are becoming deeply tied to the future of artificial intelligence itself. Places that once depended primarily on agriculture, manufacturing, transportation corridors, military bases, mining, or regional industries are now becoming infrastructure hubs connected directly to cloud computing and AI systems used around the world, which creates a strange contrast. From the outside, some of these towns still appear quiet and ordinary. Local diners, gas stations, farmland, truck routes, small residential neighborhoods, old industrial roads, empty desert land, rail crossings, county utility buildings. But nearby are giant industrial facilities helping power AI models, cloud systems, streaming platforms, financial networks, business infrastructure, government systems, and enormous sections of the modern internet. And the physical transformation can happen surprisingly quickly. Open land becomes construction zones. Heavy equipment arrives. Temporary fencing appears. Concrete foundations are poured. Utility corridors expand. Transmission towers rise across previously undeveloped areas. Substations grow larger. Cooling systems appear beside fields and highways. In some communities, residents who lived in relatively quiet regions for decades suddenly find themselves living beside some of the most advanced infrastructure systems on Earth. And that creates a difficult question. What does a town gain, and what does it lose, when it becomes part of the AI infrastructure economy? Because AI infrastructure creates both dependence and opportunity. Some communities welcome the investment and infrastructure upgrades. They see jobs, tax revenue, construction activity, and long-term economic stability. Others worry about environmental strain, water consumption, land use changes, rising utility pressure, noise, traffic, housing impacts, and long-term changes to local identity. And both perspectives are understandable, because the scale of this transformation is enormous. Artificial intelligence is no longer simply changing software companies. It is reshaping electrical grids, construction planning, industrial development, utility systems, water infrastructure, transportation corridors, regional economies, and physical landscapes across the United States. And much of that transformation is happening far away from Silicon Valley. It is happening in deserts, farmland corridors, rural industrial zones, quiet highway towns, small regional communities, former manufacturing areas, and places most people would never associate with artificial intelligence at all. Because behind every chatbot, AI image generator, recommendation algorithm, and cloud platform are giant physical systems requiring real land, real infrastructure, real resources, and real communities capable of supporting them. The AI revolution is not floating invisibly inside the internet. It is physically spreading across America itself. And many of the towns helping power that transformation may never look the same again. And as artificial intelligence infrastructure continues expanding across the country, many of the communities helping power the future of AI may quietly find themselves transformed by it as well. Most people will never think about these towns as part of the artificial intelligence economy. But increasingly, modern civilization depends on them. This is Civilization Underneath. New documentaries weekly.